So let me look at in life, we always play roles. Okay. We always play roles. When I play, we play roles. You are son of your parents and you are a daughter of your parents. When you are with your father alone, okay, when you are with your father alone, you behave one way. When you are with your mother alone, you behave in one way. When they both are together, your behavior changes. And when you are at home, your behavior with them is different. But when you come out and you are outside your house, your behavior with them will be different. When all three of you go to your relative's place, your behavior changes. So every day, every minute, we keep continuously changing our roles, and it is a way of life for everyone. Same thing applies when you go to a college, you are a student, okay, and your behavior changes. But when you come out of the class and you are with your friends in a canteen, your behavior changes. So continuously, consistently, the behavior changes based on the role that you are playing. And you played umpteen number of roles. So the moment you are an adult and you have a small kid, you like, your behavior changes when you are handling with the kid. But the same thing may not be true when you are handling with an elder kid. Okay. And this behavioral change is basically embedded into our DNA. And because of this behavioral change, there are some expectations are also built up there. So when you are with your father, father expects you to be like something. When you are with your father and outside, your father expects you to be behaving differently. Okay, not the same way you behave. Okay, so let me go to, yeah. So look at this. So we always have a lot of roles to play. And if you understand, so these roles are your son, daughter, brother, etc. But one important specific role that I want to introduce you to is a buyer and a seller. Okay. Let's say you are going to a restaurant and buying your food. You are a buyer. Okay. And you go to a school and you're joining, and you and your father will go as a buyer. And when you go to a movie theater, you are a buyer. So a lot of times from very early stages, maybe when at the age of 10, your father gives you money and asks you to buy. So over a period of time, we have this expectation that we are buyers. So the other person has to deliver certain expectations we set without you and me or somebody defining them. Okay. This is what we call it as a expectations. Okay. So a lot of expectations, and these expectations are becoming unwritten rules for us. Okay. So you expect the quality of the product or service to be high quality. Okay. And you want the timeliness to be very good. Okay. So if you go to a restaurant and order food, so it has to come on time. If it is supposed to come 15 minutes and it is delayed half an hour, you get some kind of uncomfortableness. And that half an hour has become 45 minutes. You really become more uncomfortable. So this way, you always have expectation on the time, and also you have cleanliness. You want to see that, okay, my food is served very clean and neat. Okay. And also you want everything to be served in complete. So all these expectations, wherever you go, whenever you are buying, whenever you are paying money, okay, and trying to buy a product or service, you always have these expectations. So I asked one of the one lady, okay, when was the last time you got upset when you're outside? She was saying that I was extremely upset when I was trying to buy my footwear, and the guy was delaying showing the ones that I'm looking for. Okay, for whatever reason. Why are you upset? Because you went there as a buyer. So this syndrome of a buyer is always in us all along without you and me noticing it. It has embedded into our DNA, and wherever we go, we always expect. And same thing is there even for you. If you go to a college, if you are in a college, you want to say this teacher is good, this teacher is not good. Okay, food is good. Okay, and the discipline is good, discipline is not good. Extracurricular activities are good, they are not good. All these things are coming because you went and paid fee for joining in that institute. Okay, if you have not paid, at least government has paid. If you are studying in a government college, might have paid. Are you a buyer or are you a seller when you are applying for a job. You are a seller when you are looking for a job. Okay. I want, most of you may think that, okay, so this is a different thing, but please understand, you are a seller when you are applying for a job as a fresher or an experienced person. You are trying to sell your skills as well as your competence to a company so that the company can use and the company's managers can use your skills and competencies to deliver something which is very, very important, which is a product or service the company is producing. Right. Okay. So the moment you start looking at this concept, you need to understand what I am selling. So a lot of times people will come and say, what is, when we start interviewing, people will come to say, how much is the salary? First of all, as a fresher, you need to check whether you have skills and competencies, how much of skill is validated. If you just validate yourself, it is not going to work, but how much of skill is this validated? And then do I have that kind of a competency to say how much you are going to pay? Okay. It's like when you go to a restaurant guy asks, I want a dosa, how much you can pay? Can you expect that kind of a question? Think about it. So you go to a restaurant, you want to buy your breakfast, a dosa you want to order, he will ask how much you can pay. So seller doesn't have that kind of a luxury. Okay, seller doesn't have that kind of a luxury. So when a company is advertising for you, okay, they clearly say this is my price range. Okay, so if you go to a restaurant and he puts a menu there, okay, 100 rupees for dosa, and as you start eating the food and you feel extraordinarily tasty, the moment you say it is tasty and it is good, the guy comes and says, now it is 150 rupees. Okay. Please understand, when you go to an interview, the company says that this is the price at which I'm planning to buy your skills. And the moment you find that, okay, this company is trying to, I have answered a lot of questions, and then you start negotiating as a fresher, it is going to be a very negative thing for you. Okay, company won't tell you that this is the reason I'm rejecting you. Say, okay, please go ahead. And so a lot of YouTube videos keep saying that you have to negotiate, all that. As a fresher, please understand, you need an opportunity, you need a break, you need to acquire skills and competencies, and you don't require too much of negotiation. But the moment you negotiate, so they understand, okay, this level itself is negotiating. Tomorrow, after I recruit, his attitude is going to be continuously negotiating. Okay, that's the reason. First, prepare yourself that you are the seller. You are the seller. That's the reason. It is the buyer who evaluates you, how good you are, how neat you are, what skills you have, how you are presenting yourself. All of these things, it is the buyer who evaluates and not vice versa. Google is such a large company, right? Tons of money. Why is it giving you free of cost a Gmail? Because it wants you to experience so that when you go for business, you buy it. Okay, same way, you also have to think entirely different. You are a seller. You want the company to experience how you are, how good you are, how good at it, these things that you're climbing. And so that you take that platform, showcase your skills and improve your skills and keep acquiring more and more money as well as skills. Okay, that's the reason. Please, from now onwards, try to think that you are a seller. Okay, and it is the buyer who is going to evaluate you thoroughly. Okay, sometimes they evaluate you whether you have patience levels or not. A lot of times I've seen, if you wait for 1 hour, hey, why should I wait? No, you have to wait because the job may require you to wait. Patience is one of the important things. If you are so busy, you understand an experienced person who is coming to interview, he might be even busier, right? He's at work. You are not even fetched your first job, but there is another guy who came here, but maybe he is so busy, he has taken away all his busy schedule to see that, okay, if any fitment is there, and if you have to wait, you have to wait. That is where attitude you need to inculcate, attitude of a seller. Seller has to have a lot of patience, and seller has to have ability to come down. Okay, you need to have intellectual humility, Okay, so somebody says your skill is not good, so you should understand somebody, why is he telling me skill is not, my skill is not good?
Yeah,
Because
it's nothing to do, it's not personal at all.
personal at all. You don't know what you don't know, but the other person might have found out that, okay, so this is the drawbacks that you have. So that's the reason in if you want to get your first job, please get rid of your buyer syndrome. Okay, that's the first thing that you need to come out of it, because from early childhood you have been a buyer, so you always have expectations on the others. But here is where you have to diagonally opposite of this. You are now the seller. So it is the buyer who evaluates you, who looks at in a very, very critical way. Okay, so that's a one thing that you need to understand. This session is all about buyer versus seller syndrome, and you sell your skills and attitude to the companies, and you are selling, and they are evaluating you whether you are intentionally selling or unintentionally showing your attitude. They are evaluating you, and you have to be extremely cautious about all of these things. Okay.